Lannister songs.
Drunk Lannisters.
Oh, guys, we're going to have to unpack the Rains of Castamere. And who are you? The proud lord said, that I must bow so low. Da-da-da. This is going to be too dark for HBO for sure. Now, this really kicks off with two big Crimson houses. We have House Lannister, of course, as Lord Gerard Lannister had a fruitful house, known for their mining, of course. And he had children, two twins, Tywin and Tion, and Tytos as the third son, the other Crimson, who was ruled by Lord Robert Reyne. He had an ambitious daughter, Ellen Reyne, and his heir, Roger Reyne. Now, Ellen Reyne was betrothed to Tywin. This was the dream of two worlds. Ellen Reyne, who was so ambitious, and Lady of Castamere, and Tywin, the heir to Castamere. In 233 AC, House P killed King Maekar Targaryen. This was a big war in Westeros. This was a big loss to the reigns of House Castamere, as they had lost their lord, Robert Reyne, which made Roger Reyne, the youngest son, the lord to Castamere. Meanwhile, Ellen Reyne had also lost not just her father, but her husband, Tywin. Now Tion, who became the heir of Castle Rock, was already betrothed. But this didn't stop Ellen Reyne's ambition, as she convinced Lord Gerald somehow to end Tion's marriage, and Ellen was betrothed to Tion. This was amazing. Never seen ambition like this in my life. As Lord Gerald never had a wife, she was really the Lady of Castle Rock. In the meantime, Titus, who was the youngest brother, had married Lady Jane Marburn. Castle Rock at these times was just a joke. Ellen Reyne really filled that place with entertainment and helped herself to boost her family using the Lannisters. After a rebellion and the big battle of Windwater Bridge, Tion, heir to Castle Rock, had died, leaving Ellen widowed. She was still in Castle Rock, regardless of not even having any kind of marriage in link to the Lannisters. Now Titus became the new heir of Castle Rock. Now Ellen, seeing that Titus had that position, did everything in her power to try and seduce Titus and ruin his marriage. Oh, when Jane heard about this, she went straight to the Lord of Castle Rock, Gerald. Gerald gave Ellen away to the twice widowed Tarbeck, Lord Waldron Tarbeck. Now Titus had had 5 kids with Jane, as one was Tywin Lannister. 244, Gerald, Lord of Castle Rock, had died. Titus became the Lord of Castle Rock. Oh, this was horrible. They called him the Laughing Lion. When they mocked him, he laughed. When they refused to pay their debts to him, he laughed. When they defied him, he laughed and showered them with gifts and gold. They all borrowed from him. Roger Reyne, who was a new lord of House Castamere, gave gold borrowed from Titus to give to his sister to build Tarbeck Hall. Eventually, Jane Marburn had died. Titus was a widow. At 260 AC, Tywin Lannister returned back from huge battles with Kevin, his brother, and Target. No, these guys were tired of the way Castle Rock was looked at. Or they returned back with ambition to restore the family back to its glory. That was done without Titus's permission. Tywin Lannister pushed for debts to be repaid back to the Lannisters. He really called all the Lord of Westerlands and told them, look, if you don't pay back, look, we're holding hostages right now. Kevin sent 500 vets ready for battle. Lord Roger Reyne didn't take that serious at all. He laughed. Lord Tarbeck thought it was an insult. He was outraged and tried to go to Castle Rock to speak to Titus about this. On his way, he met Tywin and was captured. Ellen, hearing about this, captured 3 gold lions. She captured the Lannister boys as ransom. Tywin didn't care. He said, well, I'll send your husband back in 3 pieces. That's how serious he was about getting the debts repaid. Overall, Titus ended up dropping the whole situation. He forgave all the debts and let the families go. Oh, this was the point where Tywin had enough. He didn't see the respect that they were giving his family. 261 AC. Without consulting his father, Tywin sent ravens to Tarbeck and Castamere to come face justice at Castle Rock. Lord Roger Reyne and Lord Tarbeck dropped all loyalty to Titus and Tywin, which was a big disrespect to the Lannisters. Now, Tywin predicted this would happen and immediately marched to Tarbeck Hall. 3,000 men and 500 knights. Tarbeck were butchered. This included the heir. Lord Tarbeck and his only son were captured and executed. The ambitious Lady Reyne hid inside Tarbeck Hall with Tion. Sent ravens to Castamere asking for her brother for help in Tarbeck Hall. Sir Kevin came with his army and asked Lady Reyne for peace. Oh no, Lady Reyne said, "Who are you? You are not the only lion. My brother is coming. His claws are just as long and sharp as yours." So Tywin ordered a siege. This destroyed and shook up the castle. This was a mess. You know, the daughters, after all this, of Lady Reyne joined the Silent Sisters, and the grandson was missing. Some say he was at Essos. Reyne army caught Lannisters by surprise, but the Reynes were trampled as the new Lord, Sir Reynard, second in line, hid his people deep in the mine, preparing for a siege. Oh, they had the cheek to offer Tywin Lannister terms and offer the Lannister gold lions back in regards to these terms. Oh, Tywin wasn't going to have that. Not at all. He was brutal and ordered a blockade on every entrance using stone, block, and soil. This was too dark. And you can imagine how this would be if this was in HBO. Too deep. Too brutal. At first, it was silent. Then it became panicking. After that, faint screams. And then silent again. That was 300 men, women, and children. Never seen. This really changed everything at Castle Rock for the Lannisters. Tywin razed Castamere, and it was finished. The Westerlands started to fear the Lannisters once again. As you can imagine, Lannisters always pay their debts. If you don't pay yours, they will pay back one way or another back. That's who the Lannisters became. they never let anything go after what Tywin had showed an example for. After Titus had died, Tywin became Lord of Castle Rock at 261. And the famous song, Rains of Castamere, became a sigil to the Lannisters. Now the Rains we pour his halls with no one to hear. Now the Rains we pour his halls with not a single soul to hear. This itself was deep and dark. Too dark for HBO. This would be an amazing spin-off. Big movie, if in fact, for Tywin Lannister. For more of this, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll definitely have more breakdowns and explanations from Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and much more in the universe of Westeros. Express Entity.